Breaking news. Overnight. Hold up. What happened? Let's check it out. We got it on the YouTube. Let's share it. What happened? Let's get rid of the comment section. I mean, let's not get rid of it, but let's turn off the voice. Shall we? Trump confirms U.S. strikes on Venezuela overnight. Let's get in.
This is an ABC News special report.
Is there nothing on there?
Good morning. I'm Allison Kosick, and we're coming on the air.
Hold on. I must let me remove it and share it again. Maybe I didn't share audio or something. Share screen. Share screen. Also share tab audio, please. Share. Now can we hear it? Yeah, why can't I hear shit? Y'all probably can hear, but I can't because I don't have my headset on, right? Is that what's going on? I just plugged it in. So y'all like, we can hear Rock. What are you talking about? Give me my bad. The fucking headset. Click the damn thing. Click it. Click the damn thing. Click it. What's going on here? Headset. Click it. There you go. I'm like, my bad. Now can we hear it? Y'all can hear it the whole fucking time.
On Venezuela have been happening over the past few hours, and according to President Trump, that Nicolas Maduro and his wife have been captured in Venezuela. There have been scenes of multiple explosions and low-flying aircraft. All of that heard beginning around 2 a.m. local time in the capital city of Caracas. And the FAA is now banning U.S. commercial flights in Venezuela airspace over what's being called ongoing military activity. This comes after weeks of the U.S. ramping up pressure on the government of President Nicolas Maduro, including seizing 2 oil tankers and conducting deadly military strikes on alleged drug boat smugglers. This week, the Pentagon released video of 2 vessels being hit, saying they were moving along known narco trafficking routes and engaging in narco trafficking. At least 115 people have been killed in more than 30 strikes since September. The U.S. also deploying a large-scale buildup of military forces and assets in the Caribbean, sending the largest, most advanced aircraft carrier in the world, the USS Gerald Ford. It's now part of the 15,000 U.S. troops that are operating in that region. That's in addition to the joint training exercises in Trinidad and Tobago, just 7 miles away from Venezuela. The U.S. is reportedly installing a radar system on that island. In recent weeks, President Trump declaring that Venezuelan airspace should be considered closed in its entirety. Venezuela authorities denouncing that as a colonialist threat that seeks to affect the sovereignty of its airspace. The FAA warned major airlines about a potentially hazardous situation in the skies over Venezuela, citing worsening security and heightened military activity that could threaten aircraft at all altitudes. That prompted 6 international carriers to suspend flights to the capital city of Caracas. And the U.S. recently added Maduro and his government to the State Department's list of the world's most dangerous terrorist organizations. In a pre-taped interview this week, Maduro accused the U.S. of mounting a months-long pressure campaign to force a regime change and to gain access to vast oil reserves. Maduro has also denied having any ties to the drug trade, accusing the U.S. of using the drug smuggling as a way to oust him from office. Let's go to ABC News correspondent Matt Rivers. He joins us live now on the phone. Matt, what are you hearing? What's the latest?
Listen, it's called connecting, and it's insane. I don't do schedules or timesheets manually anymore.
Dude, this so far, this is crazy. So, I don't know where everything's going on, but wow. I woke up to, y'all learned this just along with me. So, let's have some fun and watch it.
Stunning message, quite frankly, from President Trump posting on Truth Social, where he says the United States has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its president, Nicolas Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. He goes on to say the operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. News conference today at 11 a.m. That is absolutely stunning news and what is a major escalation. In just the last few hours, the torrent of news that has been coming out of this situation has really just been one surprise after the next.
Yeah, Trump going hard, man. It's like
very large explosions, not in some random parts.
That dude's haircut's crazy as shit.
Port facilities, as many had suspected.
Yeah, a touch of gray going to the top.
Heart
DK is it on the sides.
and the states surrounding Caracas, where we know the heart of Venezuela's military apparatus and state security apparatus.
A touch of gray on the
sides.
Nicolas
Nicolas Maduro himself has governed from for well over a decade now as the leader of Venezuela. So those explosions, people running in the streets, videos of helicopters in the air, certainly stunning images overnight in and of themselves, which led the Venezuelan government, or what is left of it apparently at this point, to put out a statement saying that it was the U.S. military responsible for this. The president of Colombia nearby had also accused the United States of doing this, but initially we didn't hear from the U.S. government specifically about what was going on.
Get the wife too. She knows what's going on.
From President Trump on Truth Social, not only announcing that the U.S. military was responsible for these military strikes, which was surprising in and of itself, but certainly not something that was unexpected given the massive force buildup that we have seen from the U.S. military over the past several months in this region.
This is actually live of it, I guess. View of Caracas after U.S. strikes Venezuela since Maduro has been captured. This isn't the one I was watching earlier, though, was it?
More than 30 strikes in.
How do I get to my history? No, it was right there. That was it. That was history. History. History repeats itself. Nah, that's me. Is that it? This one, right?
We'd call this a raid because you're just in and out. But I think that's probably what we're looking at here.
And it does raise real questions about if this was not a negotiated exit, how the U.S. knew exactly where Nicolas Maduro and in this case his wife were at the time, specifically where they were collected from, where they were picked up from. Again, among the questions that we're going to be asking, just 6:20 in the morning, and it feels like we are well into 2026. This is a storyline and an operation that is going to drive a lot of the conversation in Washington, around the country, and around not just the Western Hemisphere, but the world for the foreseeable future. Colonel Steve Warren, thank you so much to you. My colleague, Julie Sirkin, is on the ground for us in West Palm Beach this morning. She has been traveling with the president, has been there for much of this holiday break for him. But it's clear that in between some of the festivities are seeing him around Christmas and New Year's, that the president, who was took photographs yesterday with Stephen Miller, Marco Rubio, among others, has been privately very focused on this right now. Julie, we know that news conference will take place at 11 o'clock this morning, a matter of hours from now. Pull back the curtain for us on what we have heard from the president and how we've sort of been building up to this moment.
Well, he's been building up to this moment, Peter, in the way that Richard and Keir and Courtney have laid out over the last 6 months, ramping up pressure.
Look at them lips.
Ramping up military pressure in the seizure of those oil tankers. This week, a couple of days ago, we saw economic sanctions on
boat. Watch it taking
place by the administration. Boom! Different boat seizures as well that we've been tracking closely, even during the holiday break. And just to peel back the curtain even further and put my Capitol Hill hat on, when I covered Marco Rubio as a senator, Venezuela was a top focus of his. Even then, he had often spoken out against Nicolas Maduro. He had been very present, tip of the spear on matters when he was a senator, when he was in Congress, trying to make sure that the U.S. had an aggressive policy and posture on rooting out the narco state, as he called it there in Venezuela, and then now transitioning to Secretary of State. When I talked to officials close to him and close to the administration, this has been a priority of his, not just the president's, but the Secretary of State's, since this administration, this second term, took shape earlier this year. And when you talk about Rubio, a couple of weeks ago, he was giving comments and remarks in his final press conference before the end of the year, and he was asked if there was a possibility of some kind of negotiation, a deal with Maduro to avoid this kind of action, perhaps on limiting the flow of drugs that we've seen the administration use as their excuses, their cudgel to pursue pursue this military action. And Rubio said even then that Maduro cannot be trusted, that he has fallen through and broken deals and promises in the past, and they cannot make that kind of agreement with him. And that brings us to, in many ways, this moment that we're seeing now. And when you heard from Courtney laying out what she called those wonky questions, what we have called the right questions, when you look at what Congress is going to be asking, the very basics of this is that Article 1 gives Congress the authority, the sole authority to conduct, to declare war, to have that power, the War Powers Act that you heard Mike Lee there, the Republican, who, by the way, is a constitutional lawyer himself. He's often been concerned about these matters. And then Article 2 gives the president the power to act if there is a direct or imminent threat, which is what we've heard apparently from Mike Lee as he laid out the justification after he heard from Marco Rubio. So where does this go from here?
Yes, if you're just waking up, Maduro and his wife been captured, flown out of the country overnight. Trump attacked the shit out of Venezuela. And look at that. Look at that. And the rocket's red glare. God damn. He ain't fucking around, player. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're one of these people that think he's joking, that he's not willing to show force, you messing with the wrong fucking, like Angel said, some ace combat. This ain't no game. That's what I be telling Maria every day. Maria be attacking my feet every morning waking up. I'm starting to put her through some real life America shit. You think this is a game, Maria? Trying to bite my feet? This is real life. This ain't no game. It's real out here in the field. Motherfucking Trump ain't fucking around, is he? That is crazy. Look at that shit. God damn. See, I just want, if you're just waking up, this is what I woke up to. I was like, holy fuck. We saw this coming for a couple of weeks, but it's here.
An interview with the New York Times earlier this morning that he plans to answer the question of what authority the administration had and what their plans are next for Maduro. Peter.
Julie Sirkin, thank you so much for your expert knowledge of the situation on the Hill as it relates to those lawmakers. I want to add one thing to this conversation right now, and you can see how the criticism of the president.
Where's Syfax at? Galileo, the media. Galileo's the media. Time to hang him.
President's actions is already developing even before dawn here.
No!
I'm stuck in a building, so can't even tell. I guess it is now dawn in the United States. We've been covering this since the pre-dawn hours early this morning. The criticism focuses on a variety of things. The president has made clear that his concern, his focus on Venezuela, the illegitimate leader, as the president describes it, focuses on Maduro's drug trafficking, his role in that effort. But obviously, there has also been criticism that a matter of weeks ago, just over a month ago, the president pardoned the former Honduran president, Juan Orlando Hernandez, who had been convicted on drug trafficking charges. So you can see, even at this early morning hour, how some of the criticism is developing, questions about the authority under which the president was acting, questions about what the president's critics, many of them Democrats, view as sort of a disconnect in terms of the efforts taking place. But the president is touting the success of what has happened as we begin a new dawn and truly a new day in that country of Venezuela. The president speaking, as you noted, to the New York Times early this morning, saying,
Angel, I'll tell you one thing. That's a precision airstrike if I ever seen one. Trump is the motherfucking man at precision airstrikes, ain't he? Because I wouldn't hit that shit the way he dropped it. Motherfucker was on time.
Among other things, in a quick phone conversation that the Times reports that, quote, a lot of good planning and a lot of great troops and great people were involved in this. He says it was a brilliant operation. Actually, we will hear from him again shortly. It obviously comes with a ripple effect. The fallout not unique to Venezuela, but to the region around it as well. We are now hearing from the Colombian president in neighboring Colombia, President Petro, there saying that its forces will be deployed to the Venezuelan border and that they are preparing for refugees. This was in the form of a post. You know, as we have talked about, one of our experts overnight telling us that as many as 8 million Venezuelans have fled that country over the course of the last.
That's a precision airstrike if I ever seen one. Incoming PA. Don't hit the deck, Angel. Fucking got me. Broke all three of my plates and down me. God
series
damn.
Of years amid their concerns about the authoritarian government, concerns about inflation, and broad human rights concerns that have existed there as well. We are, though, hearing from the Venezuelan regime, or members of what now appears to be the decapitated regime, the country's vice president this morning on state-run television saying after the President Trump's announcement that Nicolas Maduro's location remained unknown to her and asked that President Trump provide proof of life. It's a good question. We do not know where Maduro is at this time. We do know, according to lawmakers that have spoken to Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, that he is expected to face justice, as they describe it, for criminal charges against him. Good morning.
So DK, fucking, I'm Carolina. Did you hear about the guy, that pledged allegiance to ISIS this week and was gonna blow up a fucking grocery store in North Carolina? And he pledged allegiance to ISIS, an undercover FBI agent, because idiots really think they're talking to ISIS on the other side of the pond, not realizing you're talking to some fucking FBI. Fucking retards.
2 in the morning. They are an hour ahead in Caracas, Venezuela, an hour ahead of the East Coast. The president also posting that Nicolas Maduro, who you see there on your screen in recent photographs, that he and his wife have been captured and flown out of the country. The president saying that U.S. law enforcement was engaged in this operation as well. Clearly, this capture operation, one of with such high stakes and such potential danger associated with it, would require
man, speaking like the fucking president is supposed to be speaking. The United States of America has successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leaders, President Nicolas Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. Oh, I thought you were going to say section code penal 9, whatever. Details to follow. There will be details to follow. We don't really know what article it is yet, but trust me, we'll get there. There will be a news conference today at 11 a.m. at Mar-a-Lago, a.k.a. Heaven on Earth. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Oh, why am I doing that? Play.
Special forces type operations. We don't know the details of who specifically was involved in it right now, but the good news as it relates to the U.S. military is that it appears that their actions were a success, and we have heard, at least at this time, no indications of any casualties related to any of the Americans who were involved in the operation that took place overnight. NBC's international correspondent is Keir Simmons. He's been up with us early this morning on a Saturday morning. Keir, as many people are waking up to this dramatic headline right now, we should note that from Marco Rubio via the Republican Senator Mike Lee, it appears that there is no additional
until after
military action expected in Venezuela today, assuming the situation stays as it has right now. But as we see you now on camera, we got you off the phone and finally we're able to speak, seeing one another face to face. This changes a lot, and the president had been calling on, in the words of his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, for Maduro to cry uncle. Well, he never cried uncle, and it appears that the president said enough, and he's now been captured.
Well, what Angel did say is, though, it's in a very isolated area. What we do in precision tactics nowadays is no collateral damage. That Joker, they pinpointed where he was. They dropped a bomb on him in an area, so there was no escaping after they got him. And that's probably for forces that are no collateral damage or very few. So you can see how it's isolated. That's
right. And the question now, Peter, is that the extent of this operation? We've been talking through the morning about Venezuela on the brink, the unknown future now. It just days ahead. What will happen in that country? But equally, also, we should account for the possibility that nothing
nice ring, bro.
Effectively, that Maduro
is
gone, but that right now members of his regime
no thrones,
are talking
whatever
about
the other
the country is calm. One of the vice presidents saying of the U.S. of the Trump administration, what they tried to achieve with bombs and missiles they launched, they only partially succeeded in doing. What we have seen globally, Peter, is condemnation, words of condemnation from countries that are American adversaries and partners of Venezuela.
They've been seeing planes like that for weeks prior, right? If you see any kind of big fucking military planes over top of your shit like that are not friendly in the area, the best bet would be to, probably relocate before this happens. Holy shit.
Diplomats as taking the opportunity, if you like, to try to say, well, we can help you bring about stability. There's condemnation, of course,
you're
from
complacent.
countries
You're part
like
of it.
Cuba, from countries like Iran has been a close ally of Venezuela, and for Iran, this is
you're not going to find me in the middle of Chirac
because they right now have protests in the streets of Iran. And just in the past few days, President Trump suggesting that the U.S. could use kinetic force to attack the Iranian regime if it attacked those protesters. So some of the surprise this morning, Peter, is that President Trump was talking about Iran just in the past hours, and now we have this action in Venezuela. I mean, I think some of the conclusions that will be being drawn by governments around the world.
So you're saying that forces caught Maduro trying to sneak out with China and be like, yo, man, we should link up. You want to squad up, Angel? U.S. ain't shit if it's me and you know what I'm saying? And U.S. is like, I got an idea for you. How about we take you out of the fucking equation?
In neighboring countries in their local regions. I think it's also confirmation of what we saw with the Trump administration's national security strategy published just at the end of last year, that the U.S. views the Western Hemisphere, its area, its region, if you like, as a crucial,
I don't know if that's
crucial
right.
place
Psycher,
for its focus, and that it is determined
that's what he did.
to try to bring about a safer region for the United States. Because you can remember, again, as I mentioned, Venezuela had these.
Again, this is the Elden Ring channel. We all play Elden Ring. Khaled is bigger than it appears. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Khaled is actually bigger than it appears. Don't stunt on the U.S.
in Washington. So there are all of those issues playing, and it will take time, Peter, because we don't know what happens next in Venezuela.
Keir, thank you so much. Courtney, I want to go back to you. Courtney, of course, leads our coverage from the Pentagon this morning as well, and get a better understanding about the military situation there. Because in the immediate hours after this, the question is, what happens to those 15,000 Americans who are on ships as part of the largest carrier strike group, the Ford strike group that is out there right now? We know they were heavily involved, obviously, in the operations that just took place right now. Can you sort of help us better understand the buildup that we have witnessed, with this ultimately appearing to be the punctuation mark of it, but it doesn't conclude the operations there? What have we witnessed taking place, not just with the drone strikes on those alleged drug boats, but also with the flights that have been flying overhead in and around that area over the course of the last several weeks and months even?
I think we all can agree.
Yeah, remember the majority of those additional ships, now about a dozen that we know about, frankly, because there could be even more in the form of submarines. But the dozen or so ships, the more than 15,000 troops, and that's on land and at sea. The majority of them have been sent to the region to be part of this Operation Southern Spear. Now, this is this military operation that started a couple of months ago that has primarily been involved in the targeting and striking of alleged drug boats. Now, about 30 of them over the since September 1st, of the last several months now. So it's not clear that the U.S. military would draw down the presence, because there's no indication that they're going to stop with those strikes. But the reality is, Peter, they have way more military capability in the region than they need for striking a couple of alleged drug boats every few days or so. So we could see some of the larger presence there. You mentioned the USS Gerald R. Ford. It's like the U.S. Navy's largest aircraft carrier.
Look at that.
Remember, the Navy doesn't have an unlimited supply of aircraft carriers. They are needed all over the world. When one is sort of parked in one location for a while on one mission, it can sort of back up the deployments of others. It can cause a readiness issue in other regions. So we could see that and some of the other forces going home. But I don't expect that we will see, even with the military operation and this law enforcement operation that occurred in Venezuela today, I don't see a huge decrease coming in the military presence there, because the Pentagon has put such a priority on that region under the Trump administration. They have said that they want to go after who they call the narco traffickers. They often refer to them now as terrorists. So I would expect that we will continue to see the military presence there. Okay. Now the question is, in recent days,
the question is, we got a couple of them live now. We got BBC News, 25,000 watching. We got Fox News with 777 watching, and we got 12,000 on this. What is this? Sky News. You guys want Sky, BBC, or live from Fox News? What's the better coverage? Because this is what? NBC. and they're going to talk bad about. They're going to call them drug boats and stuff like that. I want to hear coke boats smoked. Sky, you're on it. So you're the first one. Boom. Why can't I hear you?
Go from beer belly to get ripped again with
Man, I want my beer belly.
Of all this.
Well, after the initial wow, didn't see it coming this quick. You start thinking it through, and this was always the intention. That was obvious from September. Was attempting to get Maduro out. Now
we'll go there. If this one gets lame, we'll jump over.
The regime consists of the entire Bolivarian revolution, reference to Simon Bolivar and the revolution.
Because believe it or not, we watched Planet Fitness New Year's the other night and had a great time doing it. And then Twitter was making fun of the homos making out at the ball drop. I was like, I didn't even see that. We were having such a good time.
You have the defense minister.
So sometimes you never know. Hang out liberals could be fun.
The vice president, she's still in place. The Bolivarian militia.
These world guys right here, they're kind of like
still in place. The
cool accents, DK, but
tens of thousands of them, small political units, thugs, most of them.
Now I see why they're drinking espresso over there. We drink coffee. These motherfuckers put me to sleep.
With the president.
All right, give it to me. Give me the Fox News.
Better understanding of this. And Colonel Warren, I think a lot of people are waking up, and though there have been major headlines we've been covering as well.
Informed consent. And they failed because a large delegation, including
swearing in
rockets there. It's not too far south of the United States. This is a mission, obviously, that appears likely to have been conducted by the strike group in that region in the Caribbean Sea. But this is, though it feels far away in many ways, this is a region that really does impact, as we have witnessed in terms of.
Let's go to BBC real quick.
It's not going to be very easy, but it's going to be difficult. But with the support of the population.
Keep it aware. And on the one we just had, I know that everything else seems like shit, right? They're pretty good, whoever it is. They're actually
a part of drug trafficking in this country.
This was actually
well, that's right.
This is
absolutely a complicated, a complex geopolitical situation. So we have this nation, Venezuela, allegedly involved in significant drug trafficking, allegedly sending immigrants and migrants, or a source of illegal immigration into the nation. Additionally, as we've discussed earlier, Venezuela has contacts and connections and relationships.
Did you guys see that? Even he was kind of shocked. Watch this.
Drug trafficking.
Is that an airplane fucking route 1326? What's today? Channel 3. Oh, okay, that's a fucking place. I was like, I thought that was an airplane fucking like time. I was like, wait a minute.
Allegedly sending immigrants and migrants, or a source of illegal immigration in the nation. Additionally, as we've discussed earlier, Venezuela has contacts and connections and relationships with nations that we consider unfriendly to us. Iran, Russia, maybe, depending on how you feel about Russia. So there's a lot going on here. And what we don't know, and what we're hoping that we will hear from the president at 11 o'clock Eastern time, when he conducts, he said he will conduct a press conference, is what's next for Venezuela. We don't really know yet what the overall objective was. Okay, so we've decapitated this particular regime. We've taken away one person, and President Maduro and his wife, and that's it. What happens next? And that's what we haven't seen. We don't have a great understanding of what it is that the United States government was trying to achieve. We struck some drug boats. Okay, maybe that's going to reduce the flow of drugs into the country. Remains to be seen whether or not that's happened.
So what Angel, my boy, the casual viewer, is suggesting is that he may or may have not allegedly been talking to people in China, conspiring to link up. We call it squadding up over here in the gaming industry, you know what I'm saying? And that he might have been trying to take his power with China's and do a little backdooring because, he's got oil and everybody wants oil. They're like slicking it up. Like look at Diddy. He wants fucking baby oil. So everybody wants the more oil you got, the more fucking power, I guess, you got in the world. I don't know, that's great.
Okay, we've now decapitated the government of Venezuela by capturing their president. But what's it all for? What are we trying to? How is America safer today with Maduro gone than we were yesterday? That's what we don't know yet.
Colonel Steve Warren and NBC News.
How much
Colonel Steve Warren and NBC News military analyst. Colonel Warren, thank you so much. I want to briefly, we're gonna reset in a moment. We're gonna get to the Today Show a short time from now to pick up our live coverage. But Keir Simmons, I want to get to you just for one final thought on this before we reorganize and help update our audiences on what's been taking place here about just the dramatic change that took place. There had been an escalation over months, and now obviously it culminates in this dramatic action overnight with the before dawn in Venezuela. There, the fiery airstrikes, low-flying helicopters, the capture of Nicolas Maduro, and now really a question mark about what happens next.
Absolutely a question mark. And as you have been saying, a question mark over what the ambition is here. But something of a question mark, because...
Hold on. Before this analyst tells you exactly what's going to happen in his words, I'm assuming he's going to get a speedy, fair trial with most likely some kind of litigation lawyer, even if he can't pay for it himself. One will be fairly given to him in the court of law. You know, he has he's not going to have any cruel and unusual punishments in our country while he's here. Something like that. I don't know. I'm just assuming. Well, let's see what he comes up with.
Perhaps this is a message from the Trump administration to say, do what we say, or we will intervene kinetically and remove you.
Yeah, we're
that
king.
Is a message. Clearly, Maduro has now
king
seen
says
that message.
off with their head.
Other leaders around the world may well be listening. Well, they will be listening. And another aspect to this too, Peter, we know what the U.S. Trump administration's policy is because it was set out in the national security strategy just at the end of last year.
Right. Let's hear it.
It identifies key threats: drugs, migration, crime, and China in the Western Hemisphere.
What's wrong with that?
Trying to reduce the influence of China. All of those things may well be aspects of what was decided here.
Here, we're going to regroup. I appreciate your reporting all over the last several hours. That is going to do it for this NBC News special report. It doesn't end our coverage. We've been focused on the U.S. strikes on Venezuela, the capture of the Venezuelan leader, Nicolas Maduro. To see you this morning on the Today Show.
That don't have housing, whatever is going on, all over there.
Captured.
All the way back.
Now, to me, it does look like they're captured.
Hey, these assholes again.
But I don't know how the hell Delta Force would have got to him without a gunfight unless it was arranged. Because there's a 50 million bounty on his head, 200 Delta Force, among the top operatives in the world. But where's the presidential bodyguard?
That's a big bounty.
So a lot hinges on just how much this is agreed. That he agrees to be captured. The regime agreed to kick a big fuss about it.
You got a high value bounty on your head.
To normal. That doesn't look like the scenario to me.
You're the most wanted contract.
If this wasn't agreed with the whole regime, then I think they've got pretty limited options inside. The people with the hands on the triggers inside the country are still the regime.
Yeah, and presumably Trump will want to send forces in at all. There's one other interesting point here, Tim, which is playing out right now with the Russian foreign ministry condemning all this and absolutely clear about their condemnation of it. You've got Trump trying to woo Putin over Ukraine, trying to push Putin towards some sort of deal over Ukraine. And yet now we have this. We have Venezuela supported by Russia. You've got the foreign minister issuing these statements, concerned by reports, forcibly removed, aggressive actions by the United States. Where does this leave the whole Trump-Putin-Ukraine thing?
You don't want to hear them have TDS start getting fucking pissed off and yelling about Trump. Let's see what else is live. That's what they're doing. Like, oh, God, we know Trump did this. What else did he do? Let's go live. And New York, it looks like nobody wants to talk about it anymore, huh? There we go. Is that them? Why is it NBC? It looks like it's BBC. That says NBC News. And they're talking about Sky News. You see that? It says NBC News. I knew I was watching NBC News and it switched over to fucking Sky News. I was like, why are we watching Sky News now? Here you go, DK. This is, is it over? 289. The Independent.
Zaxby's just dropped new lemon pepper.
Dude, I'll tell you what, tonight on Bonfires and Beers, we're We're gonna start watching some of these fucking
This one's for you.
these unskippable ads. We got some really good ones. Maybe we'll just they're like 3 hours long too. We might just let them fucking roll.
We just didn't find that there was
some great unskippable ads. That's not what we're gonna do now, obviously.
Into learning new things.
But tonight on Bonfires and Beers, definitely. This is a live view. Looks pretty peaceful. You know? You smoke a couple coke boats, you get rid of a fucking king off his throne. Peace. Peace in our time. I am Iron Man. That wasn't hard, was it? The sun's up in the capital of Venezuela. Damn right, motherfuckers waking up and they're like, this is fucking nuts. You know? Hey, DK, if you're just waking up, we watched it 30 minutes after basically everybody found out. Trump went into Venezuela, got homie and his wife, extradited them with precision and care. You know, we had made sure it was definitely care. We had to make sure there was thought and compassion. We had some compassion when we extradited his ass back here to put him on trial. All right, for all the drugs that he's shoved across the border and all the American lives that were lost. We treat him with compassion on the way back. Don't worry about that. It's all right. Hopefully all the torches are fine. They're okay. Trust me. We precision airstrikes. And within that program, torches need to be A-OK. No collateral damage to the torches. If they're 9s, they're fine. You know, if you're mid like Sid, can't help you. I can't verify that. You know what I mean? But yeah, what is it? Saturday morning. Everybody, if you're just waking up, thanks for hanging out. You can go back. I didn't make it very long. I just turned on real quick. There's no intro, no shit like that. We watched a couple BBC, NBC. We tried to get to Fox, but they were watching some other liberal mayor being fucking sworn in. I was like, I don't want to watch that asshole being sworn in. He's gonna run down. He's gonna ruin everything. You're everything wrong with this city. But so wake up, go get some food, get your workout in. Recap this if you want to. Let's see. You know what? Oh, I can do something else too. How do I do this? Because let's see if anybody's live. You guys want to redirect to somebody? I don't know how to do it. YouTube Studios. Again, I'm new at this. Let's see if I can redirect to somebody. Content, my shit, live right there. I'm gonna walk y'all through it. If you're new, let's see if anybody else is up and about. Video details. Let's redirect to who's up and live. You guys want to see WWE best of? What are you talking about? Here, you know what? Let's get this man. You guys know me. You guys know what I play. If you're here and you're still watching, you know I play. What is it? Elden Ring Night Rain. I'm gonna send you guys over to a good Elden Ring Night Rain player that shows the channel love. Show him some love. Tell him Rockefeller sent you. All right. Y'all have a great day. Take it easy. I'll see y'all tonight for Bonfires and Beers. Peace.